All right, everybody, welcome back to my YouTube page here. I'm wanting to do a segment on Mr. Charlie Kirk. Been wanting to do it and wanted to see what was happening and everything like that. And we're going to talk about like 12, 13 of his points. His number one point, let's see here, at a turning point in USA in the 2023 event, Kirk said he's thinking that gun deaths were worth it to have the Second Amendment. And he also said that you got to be real with the American people. You know, I agree with him on that. And you got to be honest with the population. I agree with him on that, but who's going to call you honest? I mean, the way these politicians are nowadays. And, you know, having an armed citizenry, you know, comes with a price. And this is something else that he said, you know, and that's part of liberty. And he also said that, you know, dealing with guns and everything like that, you know, we need to have classes. You know, the way I see it, yeah, classes, be good, be real good. You know, how to store your gun, how to clean it. Don't ever point a loaded or unloaded weapon at anybody unless you are in the need. You know what I mean? But he goes on to say that he thinks it's worth it to have the Second Amendment. And, you know, and unfortunately, gun deaths will occur. Let's see. He also said that if we want to get the gun deaths down to zero, then everybody needs to be properly trained on how to use your weapon and have your weapon. You know, and secure it, clean it, the whole works. You know, let's see. He on his second thing, on his self-titled radio show, Kirk expressed a dislike the word. He didn't like the word empathy. You know, he said he can't stand the word empathy. Actually, he said, I think empathy is made up. It's a new age term that does not, it does a lot of damage, is what he said. Empathy does. So I don't know. I really didn't go too far in on that one. Appearing on Jubilee's internet show called Surrounding, Kirk insisted that black people were better in the 1940s under the Jim Crow laws. I'm going to have to disagree with him there. I mean, there was a lot of bad things going on towards not only black people, but Japanese people, Chinese people, Indians, white people, everything. You know, and something changed back then, you know, and he was saying that he was focused on the criminal activity. That's what he was focused on. And you really can't focus on one thing, because that one thing can just extend out to a whole different lot of roots and everything like that, arms, whatever you want to call it, you know. But yeah, he was talking about the person he debated against responded that 4,000 black men and women and children were killed in a violent lynch mobs. Yeah, I agree with that. But there was also Chinese people in there. There was also white people in there. There was people. It wasn't just, you know, the white people or white radical people against everybody else, or just black people. There was more than that there. You know, I mean, it would affect people. I know it would affect people big time. That, you know, you have all these lynchmen coming after you and everything like that. And if you look it up, there was a lot of people that were scared of them, but then all of a sudden they turned and they got themselves some weapons, you know. And he was saying that black America is worse than it has been in the last 80 years. But he interrupted this person that he was debating. And when you debate somebody, listen to them. You know, as if I'm debating somebody, I listen to them. If I go ahead and put my point out and they interrupt me, then they disrespected me, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, Kirk was asked about what he wanted his daughter to do if she were 10 years old following a rape. You know, and that's on a Jubilee episode. And he was saying, after calling the scenario graphic, as he responds, his answer was, yes, the baby would be delivered from the 10-year-old. So, and it makes me think, how would you let your 10-year-old get into a situation like that? And it seems like studies have said that it's a close friend. That's not a friend of mine, I can tell you that, even a family member. I have come up with the scenario of people are people. They are labeled as your brother, your sister, because you came from the same mom or same dad or things like that. I agree with a lot of that. But then people are people, and you have to watch them. You got to get your security cameras up. You have to trust. Yeah, that's a big word nowadays. Anyway, yeah, let's see here. He also said that certain black women do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. So I don't know what he meant by that. I mean, he said you had to go steal a white person's slot to go. Wow, slot to be taken somewhat seriously. Why would he say something like that? I don't understand that. I mean, if someone is talking to me and they don't stutter and they don't do all this other stuff and look down, look around and then put the hand, doing all this kind of crap. Okay, I'll take them seriously and I'll listen to them. I don't give a damn what your skin pigmentation is. I really don't. But anyway, let's go on to number 8 on his list. After Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement, which I don't care. Let's see. Kirk fantasized that Kelce would make Swift more conservative. Now, I don't know what his more conservative view is. I mean, there's a right and there's a wrong, but is there? I mean, some people think what I think is wrong could be right. I mean, it's wrong to stand on the side of the road, but a lot of people do it. Is it right? It's wrong to panhandle. To me, go get yourself a job, and stuff like that. I mean, and some people say it's right, but then I could go down that freaking rabbit hole and stay down there for a while. Anyway, this is, and he also said this is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative. He said, engage in reality more, reject feminism. And he told her, he said, hey, Taylor Swift, submit to your husband. You're not the one in charge. Well, it's not a fact of being in charge. A husband and a wife is a team. If one loses, the other one loses. If one wins, the other one wins. It's not of a thing about being in charge or wearing the pants and all this other crap that people say. When I was married to my wife, we were both in charge of everything. If she asked me to do something, I'd knock it out. If I asked her to do something, she'd knock it out. But, and sometimes we'd say, hey, can you help me with this? Or can you help me do this? It's a team effort. It's not a who's in charge thing. And also Kirk on X, this is on X, Kirk insisted that gun control, like vaccines and masks, is focused on making people feel safe by taking freedoms away from others. Don't fall for it. That's gun control. I control my own weapon. That was number 9. Number 10, I mean, he had some views that I agree with, but then he had some that I just, I don't really agree with it, or in the baby phase, I guess you could say, with those views. Anyway, the following tragic January collision between 2 American airline planes and a Black Hawk helicopter? Yeah. Donald Trump suggested that diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts were at fault. Kirk also added to saying, this is something I never thought he would say, but if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, well, boy, I hope he's qualified. Well, that still don't make no sense to me. I mean, if you make it to the pilot's seat and you're the captain, you're qualified. You have to have, I think it's 1,000 hours of flight time or 2,000. You have to have a butt ton of flight time in order to become a pilot as a captain, and a pilot of any kind of commercial airline. You got to have a lot of flight time, a lot. So your skin color doesn't matter there to me. I don't care if the dude's wearing if he's wearing a turban on his head and he's sitting in the pilot seat. I may have to have some thoughts on that one. Anyway, following the release of an NBC poll illustrating the difference in priorities between Gen Zers, which show that Gen Z women who voted for Kamala Harris see having a fulfilling career as a marker of success, Kirk said. Democrat women want to die alone without children. So you can still be successful and have children. I mean, and it doesn't matter really who you vote for, kind of thing. But everybody's yelling, vote this and vote that and vote this and that, and the people that are in the areas of where people that make less than, let's just say, $50,000 for a round number per year, they really don't see any of these effects. Most of the time it don't affect them none. If it does, it's by like $5 or something like that. It's not real big stuff. But yeah, I don't understand why he would say Democratic women want to die alone and without children. He may be focusing on them jamming in their career, doing their career, or spending 10, 12, 15 hours a day at work 6 days a week and have 1 day for rest with the kids, or any time for kids if they have any, like he's saying. Anyway, Kirk repeatedly spread misinformation surrounding the death of George Floyd, who experts say died from an officer applying a knee to his neck. Instead, Kirk, who is not a medical examiner and did not examine Floyd's body, said the death was caused by an overdose. I'm kind of neutral on that little thing there, because I don't know what he died from. From the video that I saw, he was yelling and screaming and everything like that at the doctors. At the police officers, and they had a knee on it. It looked like it might have been on his jaw. I don't know. All this stuff was just blurry, vague, and everything like that. And everybody was making a big thing of it. And also Kirk wanted to raise the age of retirement. This is one thing I disagreed with him hugely on. And he didn't think people should retire at all. He said, now, I will say, this is what he said, that for the future retirees, people under the age of 45, we should absolutely raise the retirement age. He's going to say that as something very provocative, and he's not a fan of retirement. He didn't think retirement is biblical, he said. He said he's just going to retire and I'm going to go golfing. Stuff like that. People like that. He said it's a waste of God's gift if you retire. But you see, that's what's so neat, is you could train other people and you could keep that gift going. Once you get to the age where you really can't, well, you could probably still lift stuff, but you really don't want to. You don't want to keep grinding, as they say. You want to have, some nice retirement years. Have some retirement years. I'm in my retirement years, and everything's pretty good. I really don't mind being in my retirement years, and it's nice. But yeah, I just don't understand why he would say that retirement, shouldn't even be a thing. And then finally, but certainly not last, during the Pride Month, children show up as on Miss Rachel's show, aka Rachel Griffin Crusoe, which followers a happy Pride Month, and responded to the subsequent backlash by quoting the Bible and expressing the importance of loving thy neighbor. In response, Mr. Kirk, he wanted to cite the Bible to prove a point in his anti-gay views, but he ultimately misquoted the passages from Leviticus 18:22 and Leviticus 20:13. Thou shalt lay with another man, thou shalt be stoned to death. I'm just saying here. The chapter affirms God's perfect law when it comes to a sexual matter. So look it up, people. Anyway, yeah, that's my take on Charlie Kirk. I don't know why somebody would want to shoot him. That's just his views. It's and this, of course, this video is months after he has been assassinated, as they say. And what gets me is there was no ambulance. Nobody showed any kind of ambulance. I didn't see an ambulance in any of the videos. Usually at a rally like that, there's an ambulance available. 1, 2, maybe even 3, or the fire department. Usually they go to those rallies. But anyway, though, this is getting down to be a 14-minute video so far. And it seems like most of this stuff is just boring crap to me. But live your life. There's 5 rules you can go by. Number 1, don't hate anyone, because that's a 4-letter word that it has a lot of cut to it. The people that say I hate you in a way where it hurts you. It hurts you. Things like that. Now, if you're looking at the Three Stooges, what you're looking at right there, that's like a government show anyway. They say, Mo, say 3 syllables, or some say blah blah. I hate you, but he's just funny, saying it that way. Number 2, don't compare yourself to others ever. You'll just lose, or you'll win. But don't compare yourself to others. Always do what you do. And the number 3, don't worry about the past, and don't worry about the future. Number 4, don't expect to get what you give. I mean, it's like lending somebody, say, $20. Expect to lose that money. Don't expect to get it back, but you make up some things where, hey, you're going to pay me back, blah, blah, blah. And then number 5, for the last but not least thing, never complain about any of your difficulties. You made them. I mean, it's like my mom would say, you make your bed, you sleep in it. All right, people, I'm out on this one here. Let me know what you think. Let me know your view on why you think Charlie Kirk deserved the sentence that he got, which was death, just by having his own view. Everybody has their view. Yeah, you might say, I don't like that view. I do that all the time. I don't like what they say. I don't like this. I don't like that. Oh, I like what they say. Well, I'll let you know. It just depends on you. All right. You guys have a good life. Remember, comment. Give me some comments. Peace out.